time. I'm going to read for just 10 minutes. Somebody, I think laughingly, suggested I might summarise rather than read, but I'm going to read anyway, just for about 10 minutes to give you a flavour. And I'm going to start. The book includes a lot about travel and a lot about time, so I'm going to start with a poem which is about both of those, and particularly about travelling by train. Travelling backwards. Low sun rakes the fields, highlights furrows of earth opened to frost, hedges neatly trimmed, crouched low in preparation for winter, trees losing leaves, readying themselves to become sculptures. I've always booked forward-facing, eager for the outskirts of new towns, for lakes flung with clouds, for marching windmills, a white horse guarding a hill. But now, hurtling towards winter and twilight, with the passing farms here and gone, I might reserve backward-facing, watch the open country of the past spread itself far as the eye can see. I'm going to take you now to Cuba, and this poem is for everything and everyone that might be considered to be vintage. And that includes the bands that we saw at Glastonbury last week. It includes this dress. And it may include a few people here who would call themselves vintage. This was a sequence that was published by the London Magazine, and I'm only going to read the second part, very small part of it, which was inspired when I got into a fabulous pink Cadillac in Cuba, in Havana, and discovered it was the same age as me. We have our bad days and our good, me and the cars. The morning sun, which shows our paintwork dented and retouched, owing much to filler. Our hours of wheezing up the hills, our crunching gears and clanking undercarriage. But on our best days, when the light is kind, photograph our style, our sleek tail fins and fine upholstery. Feel our power, the thrum of engines built to go the long haul. Travel is wonderful, I love it, but it is sometimes unpredictable, and sometimes things happen which you aren't expecting. We went to New York, and I was not expecting to be hauled out of the line and taken off to Homeland Security. Bad fingerprints. I was held by Homeland Security, the only blonde-haired, pearl-wearing, unveiled woman. The only person with confidence in the byways of the English language, its freeways and unlit no-through roads. The officer with the scraped back hair and a bulging holster at each hip eyeballed me. You've got bad fingerprints. My fingerprints dry as the mouths of the speechless hijabi women. Should have moisturized on the plane. Not their fingerprint reader, which was at fault, but me, who was bad. Like a bottle of gone-off milk. Like Michael Jackson. Like a badge, a curse, a thrill. What should I do with my newfound badness? Rob banks and fool forensics with impenetrable prints? Best to start small. Ignore the big issue seller. Fail to give up my seat. Swim out beyond the Coast Guard's flags. Give tourists false directions. cheat at the self-checkout. Badness spreading from my fingertips, up my arms, pumping in my veins, blackening my heart. I have to tell you, there are quite a few sad poems in this book, as you might expect with a book about love and loss, but having had both my husband and my daughter come to me separately and say, "You didn't tell us, we've both been in tears on the tube," I thought I would not read those tonight. However, the things that go wrong, the Piccadilly line that wasn't working tonight as we were trying to get here, being held by Homeland Security in America. How many people in this room have to complete risk assessments as part of their jobs? Oh, not as many as I thought. This poem, called Risk Assessment, was written at the time of the banking crash, when it occurred to me that every single one of those banks had filled out miles of risk assessment forms, and they had actually been no better than medieval prophecies in saving them. So this is in the form, medieval French form of a triolet, and it's to underscore the fact that our modern methods of predicting the future are really not much better than the old ones. Risk assessment. Dress up your superstitions with new names. The future is a cliff edge in the dark. Seem scientific. Plan insurance claims. Dress up your superstitions with new names. Cast runes, deal tarot, hear the stars refrain. However much you plan, the truth is stark. Dress up your superstitions with new names. The future is a cliff edge in the dark. Thank you. And that doesn't make me miserable about the future. That makes me wish to gather rosebuds and seize the day. And that's what I suggest that we do. Even when, as in this poem, work is stressful. This is not my current job, I'm happy to say. But if there's anybody here who is feeling pretty stressed out by work at the moment, this might ring a bell or two. The working day commences. I wake early, in the paddock with the sleeping lions. A muscle twitches under a tawny flank. A tufted tail flicks at a fly. The sun rises. I turn to creep back into dreams, but a heavy head lifts and yawns, and then another, shaking a sleepy mane. And one by one they struggle to their feet, their amber eyes fixed on me. And at my back, a silent fence rises between me and the open country of sleep. The lions advance with their deliberate paws and ready teeth. And maybe that's proof, if anyone needed, that poets are not emotionally equipped to be senior managers. There are, of course, in life, as well as the bad points, the wonderful points, and sometimes those are really simple things. So this is a kind of song about contentment. Cherries. A quarter pound of cherries and a book beside the sea. The shock of waves on pebbles, the racing clouds, and me. The sea as glazed and languid as a mile of satin sheets. The pips lined up along the groin, small seeds of future sweets. A cherry for each poem bursting on the tongue. A tide of calm is at the flood, a harvest of songs sung. And some of them are bright as blood, and some are warm as wine. But each is sweet as summer's flight, and all of them are mine. I'm going to finish with a wish. This is a wish for all of us, all of you. We know it's the anniversary of 7/7. We know that people said that on 9/11 and on 7/7, when people left messages, they were never messages of hate. They were always messages to their families to say, I love you. And this is a wish for all of us. Wish. In the wheel of the stars and the mow of the hay, in the blaze of a maze at the birth of the day, in the whir on the wire and the scorch of the sun, in the warm and the storm and the world on the run, in the royal and the broil of the clouds heaving heap, in the indigo dusk, in the drifting to sleep, in the flap of a wing or the bat of an eye, the slowness of Sunday, years scampering by, in the damp of the drizzle, the warmth of a glove. Let there ever be you. Let there ever be love.